Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Bree. Thank you so much for tuning in to another one of my recaps. I hope you guys are doing well and that you had a fabulous weekend and week. But of course, I am here always to discuss the Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 9, Episode 2, titled Double Trouble. All right, y'all, let's get into it. All right, guys, before I even get into this recap, um, maybe I should maybe I should save my thoughts towards the end of what I'm thinking about this season so far. I mean, we are in episode 2, so maybe I can't really say too much, but you know what? We'll just wait to the end of the recap to kind of give you my thoughts on everything. But all right, guys, so we're gonna go. So we start this episode off with Mia crying in the bathroom because, as you guys know, in the last episode, she got into it with Giselle and Karen. And so she got up from the table and started crying. Once they started talking to her about how she should parent her children in regards to her going through a divorce with G and then her having her boyfriend on the side. So we left off there, right? So she's crying in the bathroom. Jacqueline and a few other people go in the bathroom to console her. And so while that's taking place, Giselle, back at the table, she starts talking to Wendy and she asks her, can she get with her tomorrow? So that she wanted to go over her issues with her and she wants to get to a better place with Wendy. So Wendy was shocked. She was like, okay.
And this is how it felt.
Really?
She's explaining it to you.
Yeah, I'm just saying, really.
She was like, okay, girl, we can get together, hash this out. I'm a little iffy, but we'll see. So anyway, Mia is still in the bathroom and Giselle starts giving out hats to everyone. I guess she was saying particularly the type of hat that she gave to that particular person had something to do with, I don't know, I think it was their personality or something they've said. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, as Giselle is giving out the hats, Mia finally comes back to the table and Giselle and Karen, they do apologize to her. And Mia took it very well. She was very gracious. She's like, I accept you all's apology and, I'm going to just look past it. And I think in her confessional, she's kind of like, I kind of won't forget what you guys said about me, but I know I'm a good mom. But she's just going to sweep it under the rug. So I will say, Mia, I give you kudos for that because, for them to, I don't believe they were attacking you or anything against your motherhood. I think they were just being concerned about your children being involved in this situation. And they just wanted to notify you of it. But I do respect the way that you handled it afterwards and you were gracious and you did accept their apology. So I would say like being forgiving, that was really cool to see. So anyway, in a new scene, we jump on over to see Giselle and Wendy meet up at a restaurant. It's the next day. And so Giselle arrives at the restaurant first and then Wendy arrives afterwards. And at first, when Wendy sat down, it was kind of awkward between them. It's like they didn't even really know what to say. They barely could make small talk. So anyway, Giselle starts talking and she says that whatever Wendy feels, she wants to listen to her. And she hopes that it can be reciprocated on Wendy's end as well when she starts talking. So Giselle says, Wendy, when I think about us, you're fine when you're fine, but when you get angry, you start talking in a very condescending way. And that's always been something that I just don't like that you do. And so as she's saying this, right, I'm just sitting up here like, Giselle, what are you talking about? Now, maybe for me, I don't notice it. I don't really remember Wendy always being condescending or making smart remarks. But I'm sitting here talking about this is your issue with Wendy is because you think she's condescending whenever she gets angry. And so I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? You don't even really have a reason to be mad at Wendy anyway. I guess you forgot why you were mad at her. And And just for y'all who don't remember, the reason why Giselle and Wendy are even in this situation is because a few seasons back, I don't know, was it season 5? Something like that. So, you know that Wendy got a little bit of plastic surgery done. So, Giselle and Robin started saying to her, like, oh, did you get this done because your husband may be cheating on you? And they were putting out kind of like a rumor about it. So, Wendy checked them and, she went off on them and they got mad about it because they didn't like what she said. And so that's the whole reason why this whole thing started and why Giselle doesn't even like her. And my thing is this, Giselle, you're the one that started it. You're talking about someone's husband that they may be cheating on her. So I don't understand how you're mad at Wendy when you're the one that put that thing out there and she just told you about yourself. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So as she's saying this, honestly, I don't even think Giselle believes herself what she was saying to Wendy at the table because none of it was true. I think she just needed something to say so she could get this conversation over with. So, anyway, as she's saying this, Wendy is looking at her dumbfounded and she says to Giselle, well, Giselle, I think it's unfair to police how you respond to things, especially when someone came knocking on your door. So Giselle says, I'm not trying to police how you respond to people, Wendy. I'm just saying that I don't like it. So then Wendy says, well, I don't like the way you sometimes try to alienate people. And that is true, y'all, because y'all know how Giselle is, especially the last 2 seasons, how she tried to alienate Wendy and Candace, but we're not going to go there. So Giselle says, well, if I don't like you, I don't want to speak to you. And if I have an issue with you moving forward, I will tell you what it is in that moment. So Wendy receives it. She's like, okay, I could receive that. And I guess they kind of just let bygones be bygones and move on. So after they have that conversation, they start talking about Mia and what happened at Giselle's Hatitude party. And so Giselle explained to Wendy, like, I wasn't trying to be mean. I wasn't trying to say she was a bad mother. I was just explaining to her that all this stuff that's out in the press because of G, it is going to affect your children and you should have handled it a different way. So yeah, child, I guess, they make up and yeah, we just see what's going on with that. So next, in a new scene, we see Stacy at home with her daughter and I believe her nanny as well. And we learn that Stacy is still living with her husband, but they're living in separate bedrooms in the house. So she says that she hasn't told her daughter yet about the divorce and she's not going to tell her until things are finalized. Like she said something about she didn't want to tell her until they work out their custody agreement, where their daughter is going to be living, things like that. So she's just keeping it on the down low for now. And we also learned that she has an apartment in DC and they do have a family house together in the suburbs. So then she starts talking about how she knows that her ex is probably seeing people, but she can't really say nothing about it because she's also seeing someone too. So, y'all, a hot mess. Y'all already know how I feel about that situation.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
Next, we see Kiarna. Y'all remember Kiarna from last season. So we see Kiarna meet up with Karen at Karen's house. And we learned that Kiarna is actually in a relationship and currently they are living together. She moved into his place and right now they're actually building a house together. And I'm just like this is me. Y'all take it how you want. But for me, girl, Kiarna, sorry. Why are we shacking? What my thing is this: if you're good enough to do all that, you are good enough to be his wife first. But that is me. That's my belief. That's how I feel. And even Karen thought the same thing because she was like, when she was with Ray before they got married, Ray wanted her to move in with her, and she said she wasn't doing it until she had a ring on her finger. So anyway, we see what's going on with that. So Kiarna's with Karen. They're at her house and they start talking. And so we learned that Kiana was not invited to Giselle's party. So that's why we didn't see her previously before. And so Karen tells her that Giselle and Ashley, they're actually having an event soon, a GNA event for their clothing brand. And basically, Kiana wasn't invited. And so she's like, well, I'm not even going. So that's that on that. So they just kikiing it up, y'all. It wasn't really too much on that scene. So next, we see Ashley arriving at Stacy's house, and they go for a walk outside, and they start talking about Stacy's divorce. But before we get into that, they start talking about their children. So Ashley starts talking about how she's biracial because I believe Stacy had asked her, like, what are you mixed with? So she did tell her, I'm black and white, but I identify as a black woman. And so Stacey asked her, well, like, how are you going to raise your boys? Like, are they going to be considered biracial or black? Like, what's the deal? So Ashley's like, that's something that I've been thinking about because, I grew up with my black side of the family, so I can relate. But with them, the only time they see the black side is, when we're with my side of the family. So she was like, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to navigate that with them. And I think she said something about like, the world will kind of see them a little bit different. But yeah, they start talking about that. And then Stacy kind of relates to Ashley because her daughter is biracial. And so Stacy starts talking about, I grew up in Detroit. I grew up around, black people. So I know my culture. But it's going to be difficult for my daughter because she's not around that. She's not around my family. And she ain't really around black people. And she was just like, I have to find out how to navigate that so that my daughter knows that side of her. And pause on that because I just want to say this, Stacey, you're her mom and you're black, right? You're a black woman. You can still teach your daughter things of black culture. You can, if she, let's say, go to a predominantly all white school, if you have like after school programs somewhere outside of her school district, you can get her involved in like dance, like it could be African culture, hip hop, stuff like that, where she is surrounded by black girls. Also, too, sitting down with her, teaching her African American history, things like that. Also, I don't know how often you go back to Detroit, but also letting her know her family, calling them more often. Like there's so many ways you can get her immersed in black culture. So to me, I don't want that to be an excuse as to why she doesn't relate to that side of her when you as her mom can make sure that you surround her in these things, again, after school programs, taking her on cultural trips, telling her about her culture, playing the music, things like that, that she would know like you're half black. But anyway, that's just my suggestion. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to raise their kids. So anyway, they get off that topic. So Ashley starts asking her about the divorce and, is she like seeing someone? So Stacy tells her that she loves someone, but he's a devout Christian and they're not intimate right now. So y'all, when Stacy said that her man is a devout Christian, I'm like, how is this man a devout Christian dating a married woman, someone else's wife? Like, what in the world am I listening to? Like, is this Clash of the Adulterers? Like, Mia out here married and got some man on the side committing adultery. You over here got some man as your boyfriend committing adultery. And you want to sit up here talking about he a devout Christian, knowing he knows better. And then check this, y'all. Then Stacy said they go to church together. I'm like, how you coming in the house of the Lord with somebody else's wife? I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, they're separated, they're not together, they're still married under the covenant law, and legally they're still married. I don't want to hear nothing about that separation. So, sorry, let me not get on a tangent because I can't stand the dishonor of marriage. And then you want to sit up here and talk about you're a Christian when you are full-fledged dating someone else's wife, period. And the same for her. But anyway, let me not get into it. Y'all all know how I feel about that. I'm going to tell the truth, whether we want to hear it or not. it is what it is. Anyway, so we also learned that she met this guy because I think he had came in to interview at QVC, and she said, they started being friends and then they just fell in love. So I'm like, y'all, just whatever. Anyway, next we see that Karen is at Giselle's house and Giselle's making cookies for her. So they start talking, and Giselle lets her know that she had lunch with Wendy the other day and they have decided to be in a better place. So Karen is all for it. She's like, oh, good. I'm glad that y'all made up. So Karen tells her that Jacqueline, y'all know Mia's friend, she says, right now Jacqueline is on timeout with her due to a certain statement she made about Karen's DUI. And Jacqueline made this statement at Giselle's party. I don't know, with something about, once everything comes out, we'll see who's innocent type statement. That's not verbatim. I'm just kind of telling you what the gist of it was. So, of course, Karen got an attitude about it because she's like, hold up, you're supposed to be my friend and you trying to side with the law? Like, what's going on? So she's like, got her on timeout, as she said. So Giselle starts talking to Karen about her upcoming event with Ashley, and she says that their brand is moving more towards health and wellness. And Karen also lets her know that she has an award ceremony coming up. Now, y'all, I'm trying to remember, did Karen tell Giselle this, that her ceremony was on the same day as Giselle and Ashley's event? I'm trying to remember if she told her that day at her house. But anyway, moving right on along. So it's the next day, and it's the next day of Giselle and Ashley's event, right? So out of nowhere, it was about 6 a.m. in the morning, and Karen texts everyone, all the girls in a group chat, that transportation is going to be available for those who are coming to her award ceremony. So when Giselle sees it, she's like, hold up, wait a minute. She said, you mean to tell me that you're sending this out to everybody knowing this is me and Ashley's event, and your award ceremony is on the same day as our event, and then you're telling the girls basically come to my event over hours, and you're providing transportation for them. So Giselle is just too through with this.
Wow, son. Wow. That's crazy, yo.
So it's the day, of both of their events, and Giselle arrives at the venue. So Ashley arrives as well, and Giselle is talking to Ashley, and she is just so upset that some of the girls are going to Karen's event first, and then they're going to head on over to their event last. And what's so funny is Karen's award ceremony is around the same time as Giselle and Ashley's event. So Giselle is mad, she cursing, she is going off, and she's like, you know what? I know who the real people are and I know who aren't. And she's super mad at Karen because she's like, Karen, like, why would you do this on the day of our event? You knew that this was our event. And now all of a sudden you have this award ceremony and you're trying to have them come to yours and not ours. So Giselle was so mad, right? So during this scene, we see, I believe it was Mia, Wendy, Jazzy, who's Mia's friend, and Stacy. They all get transportation from Karen. And so they're kind of like in a tizzy because they're like, you know what, y'all, like, how are we going to make Giselle and Ashley's event if we have to go to Karen's? Like, theirs is around the same time. Like, what are we going to do? So they decide, we are going to go to both events, but let's go to Karen's event first, say hi, hello, and then jump on over to Giselle and Ashley's later. So they all agree to that, right? So we see that, before this part, Vivian and Jacqueline arrive at Giselle and Ashley's event. They don't even go to Karen's event. So, of course, Giselle is happy about that. But she's basically telling them, like, yeah, I'm going to have a problem with the other ladies because they plan on going to Karen's first and coming to ours last. And that's a no-no. So we see the ladies that are going to Karen's event first. We see them FaceTime Ashley, and they're like, hey, girl, like, we're going to make it there, but we just going to head on over to Karen's first. And so Ashley lets them know, like, hey, the event ends at 9 o'clock. And guys, at this time, it was about almost 7. And so she was like, when are you guys going to be here? So they're like, we can try and be there at 8:30. And Ashley's like, guys, no, like it ends at 9. The least you can do is just be here the latest at 8. So they're like, okay, girl, we're going to make it there. We're going to make it there at 8. Let's just roll on over to Karen's first and then we'll be there. So Ashley's like, okay, cool. So, yeah, so Ashley goes and tells Giselle, like, hey, the girls are still going to make it, but they're going to be here at 8. So Giselle goes off even more. She's like, absolutely not. They're not even going to come in here. You're not going to come up in here at 8 o'clock, an hour before the event ends. Like, no, we're not having that.
Absolutely not. Not me. Certainly not I.
So Ashley's looking around like, child, I don't even know what to do. Let me not even get Giselle more upset. So anyway, the ladies arrive at Karen's event. It's like, what, like 7:15 or something? And so they arrive at Karen's event, take pictures, say hello. And so we see on screen that's about 7:30. And they got like 24 minutes from Karen's event to Giselle and Ashley's event to get on over there. So they hurry up, get in the transportation, and they make it to Giselle and Ashley's event. And it's like exactly at 8 o'clock. Child. Yo, they all 4 of them walk into the event, be like, hey everybody, like, you know, they kind of hyped because it's like, okay, y'all, we made it to both events. Everybody should be cool, no issues, you know, we was able to do it. Child, not on Giselle's watch. As soon I'm not laughing at this, but I'm just thinking about it. But anyway, as soon as Giselle sees the girls walk in, girl, she went right on over and she was like, y'all gotta go. So they're looking at her like, what? They're like, girl, hey, like we made it. She's like, no, y'all gotta go. Then Giselle calls security over to escort them out of the building. So they're just looking at her like, girl, are you out of your mind? And Giselle was like really serious. She was like, no, y'all not coming up in here at 8 o'clock, an hour before the event is over, and you went over to Karen's first and think y'all coming up in here? Absolutely not.
I don't need no lecture from you, but I have to conduct myself in this house. Play with your mama, not me. And that's on who? That's on Mary Had a Little Lamb. I'm tired.
So y'all, she did that, and that's where the scene ends because we just see the security guard coming over, and that's pretty much it. And scene. So yeah, y'all, that is the end of the episode. Again, another cliffhanger. So y'all, Giselle really about to kick them out. Like, she was so mad at them, I guess, for choosing Karen's event first and then coming to their event at the last minute. And let me see, how do I feel about this? I think I'm trying to figure out, if y'all can let me know in the comments, I'm trying to figure out, did Karen tell everybody about her awards ceremony event the day of Giselle and Ashley's event or prior to? Because I'm trying to remember that scene in the kitchen with Karen and Giselle. If Karen let her know it's the same day as your event. I don't believe she did, but if I'm wrong, y'all please tell me. Either way, I don't really know what to make of this because I feel like if people can make it to both events, that should be cool, but that's just on me. Unless it's a thing where Karen tells everybody at the last minute, y'all know when she sent that text the day of, unless everybody was just informed the day of, knowing it was Giselle and Ashley's event, and she just now telling everybody to come on over to hers, then I can understand Giselle's frustration. But if everybody knew well in advance that 2 events were happening on the same day and that they could try to make both, then I don't see a problem with Giselle. I don't see what's the problem. I don't think she should be mad. But if Karen pulled that stunt the day of Giselle and Ashley's event and nobody knew until 6 a.m. when she sent that text, I could understand Giselle being frustrated. However, if I was in her shoes, I'd be like, you know what? Support the child. As long as y'all just show up, I'm cool with it. It would have probably been different if the girls chose between them, just like, look, we just gonna go to Karen's. We're not even gonna make it to Giselle and Ashley's event. Let's not even go. And they never showed up. Then I could see her even being more mad. But if it's a thing where it's like, girl, they're supporting you both, I don't care, even if it was at the last minute. But I could understand her frustration if Karen let everybody know at the last minute. But that's neither here nor there. So I don't think it's that deep, Giselle, for you to kick the ladies out. They did make it, at least they did make it an hour before the event ended. Now, at that point, you were just being mean and you were just being spiteful, and that's not right. And if anything, you're taking your frustrations out on them because you're really, really mad at Karen. So I don't know, y'all. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think Giselle has the right to be upset or no? But anyway, I'm going to give this episode I don't know, y'all. I'm going to give it a 6. I don't know how I'm feeling about this season so far. I don't know how I feel about this Wendy and Giselle. Like, honestly, I just feel like Giselle's only doing this to stay on the show because she had a good talking to from higher ups about the way she has been treating people, especially Wendy. So she kind of had no choice but to make up with her. But I don't know. Hopefully, prayerfully, they will genuinely work this out and it's not just for show purposes. So far the season is, I mean, I guess it's getting there. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in to my recap. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you can be informed whenever I upload a new video. Also, too, comment below. Tell me your thoughts on this week's episode. Yeah, just let me know. But before you go, I'd love to say a prayer over you. And so here it goes. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord give you his peace, his protection, and favor. This is my prayer over your life in Jesus' name. Amen. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you in my next recap. And yeah, bye.